Hey guys, welcome back to Charlotte Market Insights. Today we got a great video we're doing of a deep dive on Harrisburg, North Carolina. We are going to be diving into some deep stats. So if you are a data lover like me, you're going to want to check out this video. I'm going through an enormous amount of data over the last year of what's been going on in the town of Harrisburg. As some of you may know, I used to live there for 26 years. I know that town like the back of my hand, and I'm going to be doing a bunch of these deep dives on other areas in towns and neighborhoods around the Charlotte area over the next little while, doing even some top 3 hottest markets based upon the data. So you're going to want to stick around for all of those coming up. But before we get into the video and the data itself, I want to take you over and show you a couple of videos that I did of Harrisburg in the past. These ones you may want to take a look at. The complete tour of Harrisburg, that one I did last year. It's about 23 minutes long. It encompasses everything about Harrisburg, including neighborhoods, schools, shopping, everything that you would ever want to know if you're going to be moving to Harrisburg, you are going to find in that video. And then I did a video called My Top 5 Neighborhoods in Harrisburg. I'll put links to these in the description below. And in fact, in this video today, I'm going to actually give you my top 10 videos here, not videos, my top 10 neighborhoods in Harrisburg. But let's get started right now. And I want to show you, if you're not familiar with Harrisburg and where it's located, it is on the northeast side of Charlotte, just tucked away outside that 485 loop. So the data points that I'm working with today on this video, we are going to be looking at data that I pulled from the MLS on February 3rd of 2026 for the last 365 days. So I specifically wanted to go back a year and take a look at what's actually been happening here in the Harrisburg market. And we are going to be taking a look at a lot of data points. So I extracted all of the data from the MLS, put it into an Excel spreadsheet, extracted all of it, analyzed it, and what you're getting here today is the final output of all of the analysis that I did. So we're going to be looking at active listings, under contract listings, what has closed in the last year, and then we're also going to look at the expired listings, withdrawn listings, and the listings that were temporarily taken off the market. All price points are included in this video, regardless of where it falls. A lot of the videos that I'm going to be doing in the future in other towns, I'm going to probably cap the number at like 1.5 million because that is the majority of the ceiling that people are looking at. For example, if you get out into Huntersville or up in Davidson or down in the south end of Charlotte, a lot of those properties are going to be in the $2 million range. I'm trying to keep it where the majority of people are looking. But for today's video, it is it is all of it. It is all of it. And for the purposes of the data, we are going to be looking at single family homes only, no townhomes, no condos, only single family homes. So let's dive into the stats on the active listings. I'm going to be throwing a lot of numbers out here to you, but I'm also going to provide you with charts and graphs so you can visually see it play out as well. So for total active listings in Harrisburg, currently, right now, we're sitting at 69 houses on the market. The new construction houses out of that 69 come in at 28. And out of the 69 homes, 41 of those are existing houses. So a lot more inventory than we have been used to in Harrisburg over the last few months. Of course, as we talk about the market in general, if you watch my channel for any length of time, I talk about the market a lot, the softening that's happening out there. And we're seeing it all over the place, including Harrisburg, which has been one of the hottest areas for quite a number of years. But for the listing side on the actives, the average days on the market right now for these houses is 139 days, which is way higher than it's ever been due to seasonality partially, but also just the market has cooled down substantially over the last 6 to 8 months. And for you people out there that like to follow the median numbers versus the average, I've thought about you and I've included the median numbers as well. So the median days on the market currently sits at 115 for the active properties. The average list price on all of these properties comes in at $612,871, but the median list price currently falls at $596,900. So now let's shift gears and take a look at how many of these active listings have actually taken a price reduction. And that number comes in at 43%. And we also have homes that have taken price increases. These are probably new construction, but that number comes in at 2. So let's take a look at some of this in a graphical perspective. So of the 69 active listings on the market right now, 59% of those are existing homes and 41% of those are new construction. So moving onward, let's also take a look at another graph that'll give you a better visual of the price changes. So 62% of the homes on the active listing side have taken price reductions. Guys, that is a lot. When you think about 69 houses on the market and 62 of those have taken price reductions, that is a clear indication of the softening of the market. Then you have 35% that have taken no price changes and 3% have taken a price increase. That almost always in this situation eludes me to new construction prices remaining completely level. There's not a ton of new construction in Harrisburg. There were several neighborhoods that were booming, but most of those are sold out. But if you go over a year, a lot of those close. So that's probably where those are coming in with no price changes. So anyway, let's take a look at the active listings by price brackets. So if you're looking for a house in Harrisburg right now at or under $400,000, there are 7 choices out there right now. If we go from $400,001 up to $699,999, there are currently 45 homes on the market in that price point. And if we go $700,000 up to, call it a dollar less than $1 million, right now there are 15 homes on the market. But what's on the market over $1 million in Harrisburg? That number right now is currently 2. Now, speaking of $1 million houses in Harrisburg, this number is going to increase because Bloom Estates is getting ready to open sometime in 2026. That is going to be a neighborhood right next to Bloom, and the pricing over there is going to start at over $1 million. I think there's probably close to 50 home sites in there that are going to be close to 3/4 of an acre. And then you have Tremor up the street, which is a Taylor Morrison neighborhood. They're already building in Tremor, but they are going to be building a different phase over there. Prices over there probably going to be topping at over $1 million. But again, if we take a look at this in a graphical perspective, you will see that the majority of the houses there in green are priced in that $400,000 to $700,000 price range. All right. So before we shift gears to the under contracts, let's take a look at some more data on the active side. So a lot of people will call me or my team and say, hey, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, or 5-bedroom home, and I would like to know the price points for those. So that's why I'm giving you this kind of data. So if you're looking for a 3-bedroom home in Harrisburg, your average list price sits at $554,857, and the median list price currently sits at $516,399. So if we look at the 4-bedroom homes, the same kind of logic here applies. The average list price for 4-bedroom homes in Harrisburg is $604,906, and the median list price comes in at $592,500. And if you want to see what's going on with 5 bedrooms or more in Harrisburg, average list price comes in at $704,733, with the median list price coming in at $724,849. What I'd like you to do while we go through the rest of this video is leave a comment below. Number one, let me know if you like this kind of data or if there's anything that I missed along the way. And number two, if you have a question about something that you want to talk about specific to the data that I'm talking about, drop that down below too, and I would love to answer that question for you on a future video, much like this question here that Freddie sent in. A couple of weeks ago, he had emailed me and said, how much do you see home prices falling in Harrisburg? So I thought this would be a good question to answer on this video specifically, since we're talking about Harrisburg. But Freddie, I don't see home prices doing much of anything in Harrisburg. I don't see any kind of a price correction of any substance. I don't necessarily see prices increasing at any kind of a rate as well. I think we are going to be flatlined here for a little bit. I do feel, though, with some changes with interest rates, and as we head into the spring market, I think we're going to see a pickup in home sales this year. And I think we're probably going to be looking at a 1 to 3% price appreciation going into 2026, but nothing crazy, nothing to be worried about. Just kind of staying even keel is kind of where I see things falling. All right, so let's take a look right now at the houses that are under contract. So under contract right now sits at 41 properties. Of those 41 properties, we have 14 of those that are new construction, and we have 27 of those houses that are existing homes. So you can clearly tell more existing right now is on the market than new construction. But the average days on the market for the house under contracts right now comes in at 69 days, and the median days on the market comes in at 41. So definitely a major decrease from what we just saw with the active listings. And the reason for that, in my opinion, is because we've got to remember, I went back a year for all of this data. Some of these houses that are under contract could be new construction that went under contract maybe in July or August, just getting ready to be finished. So new construction is playing a little bit of a part in this for sure. Let's take a look at the average list price for these under contract homes, though. This comes in at $662,705, while the median list price comes in at $652,365. Shifting gears to the homes with price reductions. Out of the 41 properties, 22 of those took a price reduction. That immediately tells me that the majority of those, of course, were probably existing homes. And homes with price increases only had one. That 100% probably alludes me to the new construction scene as well. So let's take a look at this piece in a graphical format. So out of the 41 homes under contract, 66 of those are existing and 34 of those are new construction. And then we can also take a look at this pie chart here. This is the price changes. So out of the 41 homes under contract, 54 of those took a price reduction. Again, that is probably almost all existing home sales, whereas the 44 that did not take a price cut and the 2%, which was one home that had a price increase, more than likely those are new construction, because these builders, the demand is still there for the new construction that is in Harrisburg. They're not having to lower prices as you would have heard a lot about in other parts of the Charlotte area. So homes by price brackets, what does that look like for the under contracts? At or under 400,000, there's only 3 that are under contract right now. If we take a look at $400,001 up to $699,999, you've got 22. And then if you go from 700,000 to 999,999, that puts us at 13. And as far as the $1 million or over houses in Harrisburg right now, there are 3 that are under contract. So again, going on and taking a look at this in a graphical perspective, you'll clearly see the high bar there in green, showing the majority of the homes that are under contract sit in that $400,000 to $700,000 price bracket. So again, let's take a look at the 3-bedroom homes that are under contract in Harrisburg. What does that look like from an average list price perspective? That comes in at $535,263, and then the median list price on those falls at $492,500. So shifting gear to the 4-bedroom homes, we have the average list price for those coming in at $534,073, while the median list price for the 4 bedrooms comes in at $519,900. And of course, for the folks out there that want a 5-bedroom home or more, we've got an average list price coming in at $811,866. That's crazy. And then the median list price actually comes in a little higher at $824,995. All right, guys. So I told you I had that video of the top 5 neighborhoods in Harrisburg, but actually today I'm going to give you another bonus 5, right? So go watch that video I did, but these are the top 10 neighborhoods that I think serve the best for people moving to Harrisburg, in no particular order and not in alphabetical order by any means. We have Abington. That's a big neighborhood. A lot of custom homes in there right down the road from Hickory Ridge High School and Middle School. And then we also have Bloom, which is just adjacent to that across Rocky River Road. And then farther down Rocky River Road, we have Bradford Park. That's an older neighborhood, a lot of established trees in there, a lot of beautiful homes, some full brick homes in there as well. Kensington Forest, that sits across the street from Abington. That's a Niblock neighborhood, a great little community in there. And then Grantham. Grantham is a little bit farther out of Harrisburg, just inside the city limits. Some beautiful homes over there as well. Then you've got Heatherstone, which is on Stallings Road, just down the road from Harrisburg Elementary School. Then you've got Camellia Gardens, which sits right across the street from Stallings Road Park. And then you have Orchard Park. That's a beautiful neighborhood. A little bit less priced in there, which is why I included it. It's got some better affordability, but a nice neighborhood in there as well. And then you have Bridgepoint. That sits almost across the street from Hickory Ridge High School and Middle School. And then you have Harmony, which is also on Stallings Road. That neighborhood is across the street from Hickory Ridge High School, but that neighborhood is single family, and it's also has a 55 and older section in there as well. So those are my top 10. And guys, in the description below, there are links to all the current inventory for each one of these neighborhoods. So if you have an interest in one of these, click on that link. That link stays live forever. So if you're watching this video 2 years from the day I recorded it, those links will still be active with inventory updated all the time. All right, so let's get into the closed listings because I've got some more data in here to share with you in addition to what I've already shared. Because it's closed listings, there's some more juice in here. So the total closed houses in Harrisburg for all of last year came in at 287. Out of that 287, 64 of those were new construction. And we had total existing homes that are closed for 223. Now, the average days on the market, before I show you the stats on this, because not most of it, but because of the new construction that is closed, what these builders do with those, if someone is building a house from the ground up, they don't put that home on the MLS until it closes, and they only do that for the purposes of using that as a closed sale. So they will put those closed sales on the MLS when it closes at 0 days on the market. So that would skew up our data. So I excluded any of the new construction homes that showed 0 days on the market for that purpose only. So it's only existing homes I'm showing you right now. So the average days on the market comes in at 55, and then the median days on the market comes in at 34. So as you can see, this number is actually even lower than the under contract average days on the market. And the reason for that is, in my opinion, is again, going back a year, some of these transactions closed when the market was a little bit warmer. So I'm thinking we're seeing the average days on the market decreasing because we hadn't necessarily fully hit kind of the slowdown that we've seen over the last 6 to 8 months, if that makes sense. But the average list price for the closed houses was $581,383, and the median list price of the closed was $535,271. And then if we go over here and take a look at this on a pie chart, interestingly enough, 78% of the houses that closed last year were existing homes, and 22% were new construction. All right, so let's take a look at the homes sold under list price last year. We had 185 that took price reductions, and we had 29 that actually sold for over list price. And the homes sold at exactly list price came in at 73. So if we take a look at that in a graphical perspective as well, 64% of the properties closed in Harrisburg under list price. So again, market has softened, and that number's higher than I would have thought, realistically higher than I would have thought. But it just tells you that, as I've talked about in many of my videos, the buyers right now are being a little bit more choosy, and a lot of sellers, especially going into the early part of last year, still thought we were in 2021 pricing their houses probably higher than they should have been and had to take price cuts in order to get them sold. But 25% sold at listing price and 10% sold over listing price. Majority of that, if I had to guess, was probably new construction. All right, so let's take a look at it. You can probably see it on this bar chart here. This is a better visual when you take a look at the 287 that were closed and the 185 that took price reductions. That is pretty crazy. in my opinion. All right, let's moving on. So I want to talk to you now about the percent of list price received, because this is really important. Really important to know how much the sellers are getting for their properties. So the average of all sales came out to be 96.02%. So if you're not familiar with this number, this is how it works. If a seller listed their house for $100,000, they can expect to get $96,000 for their house. That's what the 96.02 represents. All right, so the median for all sales came in at 97.78. And if we take a look at what this looks like from the existing side, the average for existing sales was at 95.18. And the median for existing sales came in at 96.59. And the average for new construction came in at 98.96. But the median for new construction came in at 100,000, because some of those properties were probably sold over asking price, which we just saw, which is what brings that median down to or right at 100%. So homes by price bracket. So at or under 400,000, last year there were 45 properties that sold in that price bracket, and the $400,001 up to $699,999 came in at 176. And then we had the 700,000 to just under $1 million came in at 60. And then last year, homes sold at or over $1 million came in at 6. We take a look at this also in a chart format. You can, once again, even for the actives and the under contracts and the closed, the majority of things closing in Harrisburg is in that $400,000 to $700,000 range. That is the sweet spot. All right, so now let's take a look at the same type of criteria for 3-bedroom homes and what those prices were last year that closed. For the average list price for 3 bedrooms was $489,782. The median list price came in at $480,000 on the nose. So the 4-bedroom homes had an average list price coming in at $547,118, while the median list price came in at $530,000. Again, on the nose. So the 5-bedroom and bigger homes, the average list price came in at $731,859, while the median list price came in at $764,500. All right, guys, some additional stats. We want to talk about what came on the market last year that didn't sell. So these are where this comes in at. So the expired listings last year came in at 31. So we had 31 sellers put their house on the market, and by the time their agreement with their agent expired, they had not sold the property. So that came in at 31. Then we also had withdrawn listings. This number came in at 63. So this is very interesting, because basically this is telling us that 63 sellers in Harrisburg put their house on the market and they couldn't get an offer, at least to what they wanted to. Or, as we've talked about the market slowing down, what's happening right now in the market is sellers are just not seeing the foot traffic. They're not getting great offers. They're getting tired. They're getting frustrated. And a lot of people have just withdrawn their listing to maybe put it back on the market in the spring. And this isn't just a Harrisburg problem. This is an all over Charlotte problem. And then also coming in with temporarily houses that have been taken off the market, this came in at 9. And this more than likely was sellers got bad feedback. Maybe they temporarily took the house off the market to do some updates, those types of things, to maybe relist it in 2026. So guys, on this particular video, we talked about existing homes and we also talked about new construction. If new construction is the vibe you're going for, check out our sister channel on YouTube at Brand New Charlotte Homes. We have done over 300 videos on just new construction all over the Charlotte area. We've got floor plan tours. We've got neighborhood tours. We have a bunch of stuff over there on that channel. So if you're interested in new construction, that is where you're going to want to go. And guys, if you have any questions or you want to get on my calendar and talk about your situation, give me a call, shoot me a text, scan that QR code, or go to My Call with Brian. That'll take you right to my calendar. Would love to have a conversation with you and see how I can help you out. And if you haven't checked out the other videos that I just put out recently talking about affordability and the actual situation that's happening right now in the Charlotte real estate market, you can check those out right there. And also, if you want to check out a couple other videos, I've got the Harrisburg tour pinned at the bottom, and I also did a complete tour of the town of Locust, guys. But that's all I got for you today. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you as a subscriber. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. And as always, make it a great day, and I'll catch you in the next video.